Hello, Markee Dragon, also known as Marcus Eikenberry in real life, and welcome to another episode of Neos Land Kickstarter Q&A awesomeness. And I'm here today to talk to you about Markee Dragon capes and how badass they're going to look on your character. Tell us about that, Jacques.
That's definitely a very special reward, and there's only going to be these ones from the Kickstarter, that's for sure. We might have other Markee Dragon capes, but they won't be looking the same as these ones do, right? So
these ones will
we haven't figured out exactly what
frills and ribbons on them or
yeah,
something.
in light and everything, yeah. So I mean, there's nothing else that you need to have with that, you know. Like even just having that
Just
cape
run around
on is
naked
already
with the
a
cape?
major thing, right? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you don't need any special abilities from it or anything, you know.
So this cape is only available to people who pledge on the Kickstarter. It's one of the 30 items. One item gets removed each day until if you pledge on the very last day, there's only one item that you're going to get. And so if you must have a Markee Dragon cape, you should get in on this right away. Now, let me ask a question here, and the other guys here, they can fill in their opinion as well. Back in the Ultima Online days, there was a massive campaign that went on by a whole bunch of people that it was called the Capes Are Gay campaign, and a whole bunch of people decided that you must be gay if you wore a cape and paraded around with it. And so let me ask you guys, do you guys think that capes look good on a character or cloaks?
Yeah.
I would say it depends on the class. Let's
The
say
class.
you're the class you're playing. Is
Okay.
it a gay paladin or a rogue? A rogue can definitely have certain benefits of having a cloak.
Yeah, okay. Well, it was just funny because they always made such fun of me. I loved wearing my cape, and they always made such fun of me. But you know what? I shall wear my cape proudly, no matter what people say.
Is it going to be a cloaking device?
A cloaking device. Yes, well, that would be the Romulan version. So, okay, well, anyway, I'm excited about the cape. Thank you, Jacques, for putting that in. And the only other request that I have for the game in its entirety is that there's some badass dragon out there named Markee. Yeah, and maybe he can wear a Markee Dragon cape.
Yeah.
It might look a
Dragon
little
with a cape would be
small
good,
on him,
yeah.
but what the hell?
No, the cape's got to be coming out of that Markee's dragon's mouth. It's got to be just hanging out.
Actually, I was thinking that maybe he'd just put it around the front and it'd be his bib.
A bib or something. Yeah. Even better. I like that. Even better.
Yeah. So, okay. Let's see here. This has been a very long day, and I think the longest day. Although, Jacques, let me ask you a question. For the last day, the last push of the Kickstarter, do we have any plans for that day? Are we going to do some marathon, telethon, or anything like that?
Yeah, I definitely think we should do something like that, right? Maybe there'll be some special rewards as well for that day, you know, and that everybody will get, and somebody that still buys it on that day might add in some stuff. We'll see what we're going to be doing, but we'll definitely do something special.
So it ends Wednesday morning. That's what I'm looking at. October 9th, Wednesday morning. It tells me my time zone would be 10:25 a.m., which is about when we opened it. And so, yeah. It's going to make it awful hard to go out and have some big drunken party the night before and survive all night and then work the next day. We should have planned that better. Or maybe it'll be a short
maybe we'll do a pre-one.
A pre-one, yeah. Well, anyway, so maybe we can do some sort of special thing where we all get up at 3 a.m. and Maybe not get drunk. Maybe we'll just make breakfast and do a telethon. So we'll do it from the local Denny's.
Exactly.
So, okay. Now, this is going to be our last show for this evening. And then we are going to have 2 sets of shows tomorrow. It won't be quite as much time in total. And I think that it'll be 2 2-hour shows. We're going to hit the European prime time and then the East Coast prime time, and just barely touch on West Coast prime time in the U.S. So, look forward to that. We hope to see you there. And so, who's got a burning question here?
I do.
Okay.
It has to do way back with the guilds. I'm not sure if it was answered or not, but have we talked about if it would be possible if there's a guild that has more members than any other guild, and they are in another guild war with every other guild, do they own like what I mean is, I forgot what game it was based off of. My brother was telling me about it, but pretty much the guilds practically controlled the game, if you understand what I mean. Like, not like in that sense. I mean, like, they controlled top cities and stuff like that, and they would fight over them.
We have touched on that a bit.
All right.
Jacques, do you want to talk about that, or do you remember what we came up with in that round table?
Yeah, I think there's gonna be a system in place that it won't always just be guild owned, right? Like how it gets run and stuff like that. It can be guild owned, but also the cities and stuff like that. It's a voting system, so it goes around. How much land you have, and then also how much votes you can put in. And I think there was something else that we were going to be doing with that also, to allow people to be voted out if they're in charge of their land.
Yeah, we talked about the fact that some cities would be just political, and some might be under more of an iron fist rule. And so one could be classified as a democracy, and the other one could be classified as more military, or a guild ruling the town. And so if the majority of the residents in a town or whatnot were members of this guild, like let's say a guild actually they all settle in the same area to build their own thing. Well, then their politics might work a little bit differently, and so it might be a little bit more iron fist, and whereas it would require more of like a military coup to overthrow it than necessarily a vote, and so there'd be influence in that way, and as the guild leader or whatnot, you would be able to do taxes and everything, do some of those rates, and so maybe they would be willing to pay really high because they go to war a lot, or maybe they would be able to pay really high because they pay a lot out in defenses of their land. And and much of this too could be just how the person who's been elected decides to rule, how they choose to spend their money that's coming in off the taxes, and whether or not their residents are willing to do it. So and the sad factor of this too is that you could live in a town where a guild moves in, and you're used to it being very friendly and lower taxes and everything, and they could come in and make it a lot more military and raise the taxes and everything, and because you don't have enough vote power, you can be overruled and you'll be taxed at a higher rate and everything, and so you might look for new land. You might look to sell your land and move to other land someplace else. So
yeah, we discussed this, didn't we? And sort of a factor of the length of time that you've been living around that land area would give you the more votes.
Yeah. There's like a longevity, in that, and also there's the power of how much land you control, and everything. So it's kind of a complex system, and Jacques and his team is going to have to work all of this out, or they're going to come back to us and say, it's really complex. Can you define this for us better? And we'll do several roundtables to really define it better. But basically, I personally would love to see that that there will be strife and opposition here, allowing people to have a negative effect on me sometimes through the politics system or through war or whatnot. They can't totally destroy all of my stuff, but they might make it a little bit more difficult, and I might find that I want to go to some greener pasture elsewhere. Or start my own town. I want to go find some plots of land in the middle of the forest where nobody else can be next to me, and I will be my own king. So, yeah.
Terra Online actually has that type of a political system where it affects the town. I think it's called the Vanguard of that particular town can actually set prices in that town. In the game itself. So I think that would be interesting, as if they could, like you're saying, you've been in this little town now for 30, 40 days. It's a nice, quiet, civilized town, but another guild comes in and takes over, and it's now military, base and structured all this other, and they're like, you know what? Because of our operating costs, we need to hike the prices up. Everything's now going to be, and basically that guild overpowers this other guild and says, you know what? Now we are.
We've talked about this, about how the land has to all be interconnected.
Yeah.
And so what could really happen is that this whole guild could say, okay, we've got this village here. It has some resource that we really want access to. Like, let's say it has a gate in the village or whatever. And so they could go and buy up all the land around all of the village, doubling the size of the city or whatnot, and then the guild votes as one and says, we want to elect a new leader, and then next thing you know, you're under a guild rule, and they've captured the resources. And that at the same time, the village may call out for help. Help, please come, other guilds, and attach yourself to our village, It could be really interesting. Really
that reminds me actually of guild wars in a sense. It's all NPC based, but the NPCs are saying, "Help! My farm's on fire. Come and help me." I say the same type of thing here. Instead of it's actual people now, you become the NPC and you say, "Hey, I need help. Come and help me. This guild's destroying my village. Help me. Team up with me." That type of thing. It's like two bears going at it. I like it.
I think that'd be a lot of fun to cause this
coding.
kind of strife and everything, and to get key resources, and so you may think that you've got a great merchant town, but that gate is also really great for moving troops. So
I see Jacques over there. He's like, "Oh no!"
Yeah.
I know.
No. That's why kingdoms are in place too, right? So you align yourself with a kingdom or whatever, a king, and then you have a bunch of smaller guild cities or whatever, aligning them with a king, and then if something happens like that, you call the king to help you out, right? And come and protect you.
Yeah,
like you have like a faction kind of a deal. Yeah, like what Sean's saying here, like a faction type system, or you could hire like people that'll just stand out guard and guard your town, and you could have another faction that does blacksmithing and a faction that does this and that, and it could be interesting. I like the concept. I really do.
Yeah. Even go as far as the king could loan everyone money so that they can buy other land outside of where the guild just purchased.
To expand it.
To overpower and get more votes to keep control. And then maybe the guild says, screw it, we're going to an easier target. And then, the land goes up for sale or whatnot, and, they just liquidate the land and life goes back to normal.
Interesting, kind of like a Risk kind of a feel to it in a sense.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, okay, that'll be fun. That's I had never thought about playing a political game, but
I don't know if it's really political, but I think it could have some elements of politicalness into it.
Yeah.
You know, we're taking
And
all these
people
little
who-
tiny elements. Yeah.
People who don't want to be bothered by that will live in regions that are kind of immune to that kind of thing, or that nobody cares about. They're going to live in the middle of the desert, and what? You want my cactus? Take it, you know. So
I have a question here that was just sent to the forums. This is regarding the daily tier rewards on Kickstarter. Nightwatch would like to know, if we pledge at a certain level now and then change to a different level later, will we lose the rewards we previously subscribed to?
No.
Example, I pledged for $45 on the 9th, and on the 1st I changed to $300. Do I still get all the daily tier rewards, or only from the date of the $300 pledge?
You get it from the first day that you pledged, so it doesn't matter if you change after the fact then.
you can change your mind as many times as you want up to the date, and so getting in today gets you the 30 days of rewards.
Guaranteed, it doesn't matter if you change it, yeah.
Yeah, and so you know, it can. You'll be good. You'll be good. So no matter what, just get your $10 bid in right now, and start there, so that you got the 30-day prizes.
And each day add another $10.
Well, you could, you know, go mow another lawn. Okay, so any other questions here?
No, I think chat's chat's already questioned out.
Okay. Well, I think we've done a very good job of going through a lot of information today, and so the videos are going up. In fact, some of them are up already, and so it has a lot of information. So everyone, do post your questions in the forums, especially when we're not online on the live stream, and we will incorporate those into the next show. And depending on how many questions we have queued up, we may do, you know, it may be all Q&A for all of the shows tomorrow, or we may put in a roundtable or two. We shall see. I certainly have a lot of stuff for roundtables, and that would give Jacques a break too, because he's not allowed at the roundtables. He just has to
you
watch.
got one thing I just want to answer, and that's been asked, you know, and we didn't touch that, is rewards for the people that's been following us all the time on the other forum that we had, the wiki one, before we released the name. So we'll be definitely giving everybody there some kind of reward. So we just haven't decided what it's going to be, but it'll definitely be something that say thank you to you guys following us before we even had a name for the game. So that's a good thing just to mention that.
Yeah. So and all of you are how we got to this point today. So pretty incredible. I never thought that I would be that I would be involved in making a game. I was just like, nah, ain't never gonna happen, and here we are. So,
Do we have
okay.
Do we have time? Well, go ahead. I was going to say, do we have more time for one more question or no?
Sure, yes, we do.
Okay. All right. Well, then my question would be the discussion of plots of land. Was there going to be any type of implementing into the game of property taxes based on how large their land is, on a daily, monthly, weekly?
Yes, and it's not quite exponential, but it goes up the more you have.
Okay.
We did cover this. Cover this earlier, but in a nutshell, if you own 10 squares of land and it costs one tax, one each, one gold piece each per month or whatever on the tax on that. If you have 20 pieces of land, it may cost you 1.5 each.
Okay.
Or something along the lines of that, so that it stops people from getting enormous amounts of land.
Unless they can afford it.
Unless they can afford it. Well, the cost exponentially goes up. And so only the super rich motherfathers are going to be able to have that.
That's interesting, and the reason why I asked that is because Minecraft has a plugin called Towns, and they do that same thing, and it's called and you can actually purchase land, it'll automatically assign a cost of the land, and so property taxes. It'll automatically take it right out of your gold fund or your inventory or your bank or whatever you want to call it, but it automatically comes out every day. It's like $1 or something like that, or whatever. I mean, you could set it to a day, you could set it to 7 days, 30 days, whatever. And the larger that the community is, or the town in this case is, the larger the price is going to be.
Yeah.
And if you happen to build a bank in your town, then the price is going to go down a little bit because that's a financial institution. If you happen to build a store, maybe the price on that particular piece of land is commercial, so it might go up a little bit more or whatever. If you're planning on implementing that, I think that'll be very interesting because I actually put towns on my server when I had a Minecraft server, and it did very, very well. So just a thought.
Yeah, definitely. We're definitely looking at it, yeah.
Yep. So, and we'll have different land zones, different tax rates. There'll be some different things upon that, and in fact, your mayor could dictate some of the tax as well. So, if you're in an incorporated town. Okay, that's it for tonight. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Jacques, and
thank you,
Saint,
Marcus,
who's been here all day. Myself, who's been here all day. Yes, I'm going to go collapse now. And pick up and do it again tomorrow. So thank you, and we'll see all of you tomorrow for the next live shows.
Marcus.
Okay.
Thank you.
See ya.